Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Parks and Tech. Here we are, guys. We're back, and what a better way to start the new year than with the PowerEgg X. So we got that coming up here. We of course have just the regular base model, and then of course the waterproof accessories as well. And we're going to go ahead and dive real deep into both of these, so we can help you decide if this is something that might interest you, or if this is something that could go into your arsenal of drones and cameras and so forth. So stay tuned, folks. So there we have it, guys. This is the PowerEgg X. This right here is just the base model. We're going to go on ahead and dive into this box here first, show you everything that comes in the package, and give you kind of a first impression and overall first looks of this this quadcopter, and also, of course, just a regular handheld camera too. So let's take a look at the box here. First things first, they do advertise very big that it is just a regular standalone camera as well. Face tracking, AI tracking, or face recognition, excuse me, AI tracking. Sync voice, which is something that is new, where it actually is able to record the audio directly from your phone and have it written to the SD card video inside of the PowerEgg itself. So I think that's a pretty cool little feature. And then, of course, down here, it's kind of interesting. They make it very small, but it is down there that it is also a drone. It's your handheld camera, and it is waterproof and can fly in the rain as well, given that you have the waterproof accessories pack that comes with it. And apparently this thing can fly in some pretty heavy downpours, so that's definitely going to be something that we will take a look at. So continuing to look at the box, really nothing over there. There is a picture of a hand holding the PowerEgg X on that side. And over here we have some quick specs here we'll go over. Autonomous AI camera mode, which is basically just it doesn't include the tripod, but you can attach it to a tripod. It does come with that mount. There's aerial drone mode, so it can be a drone, of course. 3-axis gimbal stabilization. It does record 4K 60 frames per second and also does slow motion. AI recognition and tracking. Remote voice dubbing, which is the audio feature that records through your phone that we talked about earlier. It's got about 30 minutes of overall flight time when it's in drone mode, and when it's in AI camera mode, it's got 3.5 hours worth of battery life, so that's pretty cool. Max wind speed resistance, it's looking at about 10 meters per second, so that's pretty cool. Pretty stable and can hold its own in some heavier winds. Waterproof housing accessory, only in the Wizard version, which of course you'd have to make sure you got that Wizard version. So real quick before we dive in here, PowerEgg X, just this package here alone is going to cost you $8.99, and then the package with the waterproof accessories total is going to cost you $12.49. So it's up to you on if that's something that might be that you might be interested in or not, but that's up to you. So hopefully this video will be able to help you make an informed decision on if this thing is right for you, if it's just this that's right for you, or if you want to get the whole kit and caboodle with the waterproof housing. So full disclosure, I already opened it. As you can see, the seal was already broken. I did take a look at everything already. So there we have it. That is the PowerEgg X in its case, which I think is pretty awesome. The case alone is really nice. This time around we actually get a handle, which is, you guys remember the original PowerEgg did not have a handle. It did come with a very nice plastic case, but it did not have a handle, which made it very difficult to carry around. So anybody that has that one knows that it can be a little difficult to carry around in that case unless you've made some sort of modification, which you really could if you really wanted to. So, but again, overall, very nice case, very nice handle. This is nice fabric material, and this is kind of like one of those standard foam cases that you'll see that come out of China, and even here in the United States. But again, very nice case. Okay, so without further ado, let's go on ahead and release this Velcro connection there. Let's open her up. There we have it, folks. You're greeted right away with the PowerEgg X itself. Up here you have some little box with all your information, your warranty guides, instruction guides, things like that. You can take a look and read those kind of on your own time. I'm going to remove this little cardboard cover here. It's nice packaging. Powervision doesn't mess around with their packaging. I'll definitely give them that. And of course, the fact that they include a case, I think, is really cool. So first things first, let's get the egg itself out, and here she is. Definitely a lot smaller than the original PowerEgg. It does still have a little bit of weight to it. The battery is in here. Currently, it does come with the battery pre-installed. But overall, first impressions, it is plastic on the outside. It doesn't really feel cheap at all, which is a good thing considering, the price that you would have to pay for it. I would hope that it wouldn't feel cheap. So let's go on ahead and use this little tab here to remove this bottom cover. And that's all that is that's just a little bottom protective cover. So definitely good to have that removed. But here it is. So now we're getting our first look here at the PowerEgg X without that bottom cover. You can see here that it does have the gimbal guard here to keep the 4K camera and gimbal stabilized. We do have two obstacle avoidance sensors on the front. Might I add right away, one thing that I did notice is that these do not work in tracking mode. So when this is in drone mode and you have it tracking you or tracking a subject, the obstacle avoidance is off for whatever reason. So, in tracking mode, you'd think that they would be able to have those turned on, and that's something that you'd want on, specifically if you have it tracking you. But who knows? Maybe down the road they can release a firmware update that'll change that. I don't know if there's something inside that's hardware related that would stop that from working or not. It's probably just software, so who knows. Taking a look at this side, we see the PowerX branding. We also see one of our connection ports as well here for the arms and legs for drone mode. Same thing on the other side as well. Nothing really on the back other than the little LED light. And then here we have our power button and status of the battery as well. Let's take a look at the bottom. So on the bottom, we've got two optical flow sensors and then also two ultrasonic sensors as well to help keep this thing stable as possible when in flight. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and remove this top cover. The top cover actually gets removed by pushing this little button and this button in at the same time. So it does pop the top cover off there. So that's great. And that is how you remove the battery, which just slides out. It's a pretty massive battery. Let's take a look here. Let's see if I can read some of that small print. It is a 13.2 volts lithium ion battery, 3800 milliamp hour battery. So there's that. And this is what it looks like without the top cover on. One thing I will notice, or I will say, is that without that battery, this is actually pretty light. So definitely pretty light without the battery. There is our micro SD card slot, which fits in directly underneath the battery. And then of course these are your connections for the arms and legs, and then you can also use those for the connections for the tripod mount as well. Okay, so next up we have the actual arms and legs themselves. So they are here. They do feel pretty strong, very well built. And of course we have our landing gear as well that folds out. So let's go ahead and get the other one out of here. And here we are. Brushless motors, of course. Couldn't have it really, any other way. And the cool thing too about these connections is that you can't really mess these up when you're putting them on the drone itself. There's only one way that they can go on, so that's a good thing, I guess. You know, if you're a little unsure on how these connections are done. So underneath those, this is our handle here, which this is Velcro. Of course, you can adjust it for your hand, and just like a camcorder. And then this, of course, just would slide right in. So I'll show you that. Just slides right in. There is no click, guys and girls. There's no click. There's nothing in here that kind of really locks it in place other than pressure. But there's that. That's, you know, how that works. Of course, you'd have the top cover back on, and also in here, this is a little. I'll show you. At least some of it I didn't open for you. This here is just a spacer to fill in this gap whenever you are using it in camcorder mode. So this just slides right in there to kind of give you a nice little finished area. And then this just clips right back on, and there you go. You are in drone mode, or excuse me, you're in camcorder mode and you're ready to go. I do believe you do have to have this connected to your phone at the same time for it to work. So you'll have to either have your phone out or at least the app on in your pocket or something. But all in all, you know, not bad, not too shabby if you need to use this as a camcorder as a last minute. Although, you know, most cell phones, of course, now record 4K 60 too. So choice is up to you. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get this popped off here, this back top cover. Now, whenever this strap is on, I actually just noticed this, that the button is kind of an extension of that button over here. So you just use that like you would this normal button. So, but this then just slides right out. And again, that's still something that's a little concerning, but it is what it is. So what else we have in here? So as in PowerEgg fashion, they do send you a little carrying bag, just like they did with the regular PowerEgg. So you know, nothing really too fancy there. I guess if you are just carrying this around in camcorder mode, maybe this is something you'd want to use to help carry it around and keep it protected if you're going to shove it into a bag or something like that. So the other piece that we didn't take a look at before that was in that little plastic baggie is actually the tripod mount. And that just, of course, slides right in just like anything else. And I apologize, that actually goes on the other side. So let's pull that little divider out. I accidentally hit the power button there, but see, like I said though, you can't mess it up, because if you try to put it in the wrong side, it's not going to go in. So there's the left side. So if you're looking at the top of it, the left side is for the tripod mount, and then the right side is for your handle for a camcorder. But there you go. So then you have your tripod mount, which does feel pretty sturdy. You know, it still worries me a little bit that you don't really have, you know, too much in terms of a click or a lock or anything like that. But like I said, you know, it's the pressure and the force and friction that actually really helps to hold these bad boys in place. I just sometimes wonder how they're gonna hold over time, you know, being able to pull that in and out. So, but we'll see. So that's how those extensions work. Let's take a look at this box right here. So inside this box, looks like we've got a bunch of stuff. We've got our power cable. We have got our USB Type-C cables. We've got micro USB, and we've got lightning for the iPhone. And here's our actual charging brick itself with the connection to the battery here. It also comes with 2 USB ports, so you can plug some other things in there, like for example the transmitter if you really wanted to. And what else do we have in here? So we've got ourselves 2 extra spare props, so that's nice. And then inside here, it looks like we just have the tool. Yep, we've got the tool for the props themselves and a bag of extra screws. So that's nice that they include that, you know, even in just the base package itself. So that's good. So let's take a look at the transmitter. And I knew that was going to happen, so we'll just leave that sitting up like that. So this here is the transmitter, and in glorious Powervision fashion, the transmitter feels really nice. It's got some weight to it. You know, this is definitely not cheap. It definitely does not feel cheap. It's got weight. You know, the buttons feel really good. The sticks feel very nice as well, and they can definitely handle a little rain. See these little rubber guards in here to help protect that from moisture getting in there. I wouldn't recommend submerging this underwater because I don't believe it is waterproof, but I do believe it is water resistant. So when flying in the rain, just make sure that your phone itself is waterproof, or you're gonna run into some problems. So, but these are the antenna. They come up, and let's get this pulled up. It's kind of a unique system here. There it is. And then this is a spring-loaded gizmo, which is pretty strong, and can probably should be able to fit the bigger phones no problem. You'll need an extension if you want to use a tablet of some sort. So once this has been pulled up, you do see your P mode, N mode, and E mode. Down here you've got looks like your stop recording button, your return to home button. You've got your power button, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what the C one does. So I apologize. I will make sure that I figure that out and let you know for sure. Here it looks like we have our micro USB for charging. And then on the back, we have our wheel here to move the camera gimbal up and down. Looks like we've got our start video recording. We've got our photo button. In here is our connection so that we can connect our phone to the transmitter itself, and you can see that these ports are being covered by some rubber here, so helps protect them from dust and so forth getting in. Anything under this one over here? Nope, that's actually just glued in there in fake. So I guess maybe they could add something later on if they really wanted to. But there we have it. So there's the transmitter itself. Okay, so now we are going to transform this baby into a drone. So let's go ahead and add these arms and legs on here. And again, you can't mess these up, so you just got to really make sure that you have everything aligned appropriately with the connections that you see. So clearly, this particular set goes on the right-hand side, and it just forces itself in. Again, there is no click. I really kind of wish there was something. A lot of people need that sort of reassurance to know that it's in. So, for example, right here, I currently have this in, right? Well, it's not. I mean, it's not going anywhere, but you can still push it down a little further. So if you do get this, just make sure that you do push these down as far as they can go. I'm sure once you tried to connect to it or something like that, it probably wouldn't let you take off because it wouldn't recognize that it even had both arms and legs attached. So if one wasn't in all the way or one of the connections didn't make contact appropriately, then I'm sure it would probably tell you that. So I actually put the extenders, the landing gear on that side, so let me do the same for that side. So there it is. We'll pop this top cover on. Just clicks on, and there she is, guys. There's the PowerEgg X as a drone. Real quick before we move on, again, I talked about how there's no click or anything when these arms and legs go in. If you're somebody who is going to be taking these on and off a lot, And to be honest with you, if you're using this case, you're going to have to, because that's the only way it's going to fit back inside of its case. I haven't seen any cases that allow you to transport it and keep it this way. So I don't know if that's something that's going to happen later on down the road or not. But again, that is something that I haven't seen yet. So you will have to take these on and off. The connections feel strong. They don't feel weak, but you never know. Anything's possible. So it's just a little concerning. Who knows if it's going to happen? Who knows about the longevity of these connections? I would hope that they would last a while, but you never really know. So until you actually use it and have those taken on and off multiple times. So that's something that, of course, that we will take a look at when we have this. Okay, so next up we're going to be taking a look at what comes with the PowerEgg waterproof accessories pack. Again, if you get both of them together, it's going to run you about $12.49, and this is called the Wizard pack on their on Powervision's website. So just so you know, this is the Wizard pack. That includes everything. It includes the waterproof accessories and, of course, just the quadcopter itself. With the Wizard pack, you do get this. It does come separate in a box. It's not really in a box or anything like that, but let's go ahead and get this open so you can see what comes in here. And again, in regular Powervision form, they send you a nice little case. Now, what actually goes in here, this is a way to travel with just the arms and legs separately, so they actually both fold up and fit very nicely in here. So a nice little zipper pouch that you can throw into a backpack if you're someone that's traveling. You can throw that into a backpack. You can put this in its bag, the carrying bag that it comes with. Here it is here again. Throw that in and throw it into a backpack, and you're ready to go. I guess you're gonna have to keep the transmitter separate, of course. Find your own case or something like that. But kind of neat that they do supply you with cases. It's kind of rare these days, so that's pretty cool. So we'll set that aside, and let's take a look at the waterproof accessories pack. So there it is. So basically what you get inside here is you get a full set of extra props. You get the waterproof housing. You get an extra battery, which is great. There is the case we just talked about. Here is a cable. It looks like I can't tell exactly what that is on the outside and what it goes to. And then, of course, you get your floats or pontoons or skids, whatever you want to call them. So it's up to you. But there's nothing else on this box. It's just basically empty. Shows you some brand and so forth. But anyhow, let's go ahead and open that up. And there we are. So first things first, we are greeted with the floats or skids or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, of course, this is meant to be able to land and take off from water, but what these also might be good for is if you're landing on a little bit of rough terrain, because not only does it hold it up a little bit higher, but these will take the impact. If it has to land on, I don't know, sand or mud or something like that, these would be a lot easier to clean, at least in my opinion, than the drone itself. So here we are. Floats, pontoons, skids, whatever you want to call them. Here is our extra battery. So that's good. Set that over there. In here, I'm going to assume that these are our props. Yep, there's our full set of extra props there, so that's good. You can never really have too many spare props, in my opinion. You just can't have them. Or, excuse me, you just can't have too many. And in here, I'm going to actually leave that box in here. Open this up. This, of course, is our waterproof housing. So let's get this taken off. Take a quick look at that. So that's pretty nice. Let's set that over there temporarily. Okay, so let's take a further look at this waterproof housing here. So it looks like we have 3 latches that actually hold this top cover in place. These just pop off like so. And that relocked itself. There we go. So now we're going to take a look at how the waterproof case actually gets installed on the PowerEgg X to make it waterproof. So basically, we already took a look at the waterproof case a little bit here. So what happens is the quadcopter itself will actually slide into the back. The arms go into these little notches with the rubber seals, and there's rubber seals all over this. But it doesn't just slide right in. This is again where you're gonna have to apply some force and really make sure that this case is on, or it will not shut. There's two little grooves here, so I'm going to use the arms and legs to kind of force this baby in just like that. There we go. And then this, of course, will close up. Of course, you want to make sure that this seal is nice and tight, but this top buckle, make sure that that is locked in there pretty good. That's the easy one. These two side ones can get a little bit on the tricky side. But I see why. I see why it has to be that way. It's to make sure that there is, a very tight seal done on this. So these will make sure that these two back clamps are on and back all the way. Click 1, click 2, click 3. I turn it around, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Push, click 1, click 2, click 3. And there you have it. PowerEgg X is ready to fly in the rain. Power button here on the top. It's rubberized, so you'll still have access to it. On the bottom, your sensors are covered. You do have to keep in mind that whenever you are flying this with this case on, you do have to switch it to waterproof mode. On your not on your transmitter, but on your app on your phone. So these sensors are turned off whenever it is inside this case. And as you can see in the front, this waterproof case actually has two little rubber guards there that are actually blocking the obstacle avoidance sensors in the front, so that it automatically turns those off. Basically just covers them up. I shouldn't say turn them off, because they might actually still work, but they're completely blind. So let's take another look at the bottom here. One thing I missed, they even have a little sticker here to caution you, but in terms of heat, because this thing does get a little on the warmer side, this here is supposed to help kind of draw some of that heat outside of the case itself. So this does get a little warm to the touch, but so just be careful. One other thing too that you have to be aware of course, is fog. I shouldn't say you just got to worry about the inside of the case fogging up, because of course that will ruin your shot. So make sure you use either some of those little anti-fog pads or anti-fog spray or something like that. But to be honest, that of course truly doesn't necessarily work either. So just be careful with that, and just know that that's going to happen. Because it does get warm in here. So if it's cold outside and warm in here, you're going to get fog. But if you're flying and you're outside and it's a summer, like it's typically meant to, fly in warmer weather, then, well, you really don't have to worry about that too much, I'm sure. And of course in the rain, you might have to worry about it. But just something to be aware of. Okay, so now we're going to show you how these pontoons, slides, skids, floats, whatever you want to call them, get attached. So make sure the arrows are pointing forward. Pretty simple in that regard. If you do try to put them on the wrong side, it won't let you. It won't let the landing gear fall into these little rubber holders in here. You can see how they're kind of designed to the curve of the landing gear itself. So just be aware of that. Like for example, this one here I know goes on the left side, but if you try to install it on the right side, well, it's just not going to work. Nothing fits. So they do go on the left side. See how much easier that slides down in. Same thing there. Lift this side up, and they just slide right in there. And these are just little rubber Velcro straps to help hold these in place, just so that you have, you know, nothing to worry about. Of course, anything can fail, so just be aware of that. But for the most part, you know, I definitely make sure that you have, especially if you're going to be landing on water or flying over water and you're afraid, and I'd make sure that these little safety straps are attached so that you don't lose your floats or anything happens to the quadcopter itself. These are nice little rubber pads to help to not scratch up the arms and legs. There it is, guys. The PowerEgg X is ready for water or whatever you want to throw at it. It's in the waterproof housing. We got our skids on. It's ready to rock and roll. Okay, so now we're going to go on ahead and get this baby powered up. Now that I do have a full charge on the battery, this is the first time I'm going to be powering this up. So I'm sure there's going to be some firmware updates, things like that. So we'll be able to walk you through that, and we're going to go through this together. So, you know, if there's some issues or anything like that, we're going to find out firsthand. So let's go ahead and get this baby powered up. First things first, press these two little buttons on the side to pop this back cover off, so that we're going to be able to install the battery, but also the SD card. So want to make sure we do that. Chances are it probably won't allow us to do any updates or really too much of anything without this SD card. So as you can see, this is a SanDisk Extreme. I use it for all the quads. It's 128 gigs. You can get these on Amazon pretty inexpensive at this point. Still should really get an unboxing knife, but I don't, so it is what it is. Just pop that baby out. And it doesn't really show you how it goes in, but I can kind of see the little teeth on the bottom there. So I think it actually just probably will slide in this way. There we go, perfect. No problems there, all locked in. Then we'll put the battery in front here. And again, there's no click. There's no click, you gotta remember that. I kept pushing, waiting for a click, but I guess I'm just so used to hearing clicks. But with this guy, you are not gonna be hearing any clicks. So, except for there. I heard a little bit of a click there. So, before we power it on, make sure that your gimbal protector is removed. So how you do that is you see these little ridges here on the sides. They're on the other side too. Pinch, pinch, and pull out. So there is that. So we have removed the protector. Okay, so this is going to be the first time that we are powering this bad boy up. And again, we're probably going to be seeing an update prompt, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and do this together. So let's go ahead and power on the quad. Press and then press and hold. It's doing its gimbal calibrations. It's going ahead and turn on the transmitter. So the transmitter is now on. Let's make sure that we have our correct cable plugged in here. And I'm not going to, just because I'm not flying it, I am not going to be putting it in the holder itself. So let's go ahead and connect the phone. So there it is, Vision 2. We're going to allow it. Okay. Okay, so we don't want to make sure that you don't have the app already started. It gave me a little error there saying that it needed to restart the app. So it did restart the app. So we're going to go through and do device activation. Make sure you're logged in with your account to the Powervision app. Device activated. Click OK. Device is connected. You can either access the device or go into waterproof mode. But I did get a notification here that new firmware is available. I'm going to tap on that. So what I will do is I will start doing this update. So you can see all the settings, so you can go on ahead and see all of the firmware information for 3.2.2. Number 1, improve the robustness of the over-the-air firmware updates. Introduced 24, 25, 48, or 50 frames per second video settings for video recording. Updated strategy of limiting the use over no-fly zone restricted airspace. Introduced split footage feature during video editing for the Android app. Improved the mechanism for automatic detecting waterproof case. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and tap the upgrade button. So that's interesting. That is something I did not know. I would have assumed that the SD card would have had to have been in there for the upgrade to take place, but they apparently don't want the SD card in there while the device is upgrading, which is kind of interesting. Tips: an SD card has been detected. This update requires you to remove the SD card before updating. Please try again after removing. So I wonder if it's just for this particular update, or if there is a different update altogether that might require an SD card. Who knows at this point? But typically whenever we update our quads, they need to have that SD card in there to have some storage. But this does have some internal storage as well. So I will click OK. Okay, so I have successfully removed the SD card, got everything all powered back up here. And I am once again prompted with the new firmware update available. So let's go ahead and try this again without the SD card. So version 3.2.2 does not want an SD card in the quad while it is upgrading. So let's go ahead and tap upgrade. Aircraft firmware upgrade. Reminder, please ensure that the battery level of both the aircraft and the remote controller is higher than 50%. Do not power off the aircraft or remote controller or close the app during the upgrade. So right now it says, it says we'll try the update again. Please wait. Compressing file. Data transmitting, 0%. Reminder, please ensure the battery level of both the aircraft, blah, blah, blah. We just saw that. Device may restart a couple times during the update process. We get that. It does keep spinning and going through with trying to compress the file. So I have to say this is the longest that it says that the data is transmitting. But we did get a little warning. Warning, update abnormality. Please check the network connection. If the upgrade fails frequently, please contact the After Sales Service Center. Kind of interesting. I'll tap OK. Let's kind of troubleshoot this a little bit. It's not forcing me to do the upgrade. So what I'm going to do is let's just make sure we can access the device. Okay, so I'm going to tap access device. An important new firmware is available. Please upgrade first. So it actually is forcing me to do the upgrade. Isn't that something? At least this one is. So everything's on, everything is connected. I am connected to Wi-Fi with no problems. Let's try this this firmware upgrade again. So once again, compressing. Now it says data transmitting. We'll try to update again. Please wait. Seems like little Jack's over here is getting a little frustrated with the update too. Good boy. So we're back to back to data transmitting. Ah, we're at 1%. Let's see if it actually 2%. Woohoo! So it looks like we are, hopefully, fingers crossed, back in business here after what appeared to be not a failed upgrade, but a failed upgrade attempt, and well, now it's back to compressing the file again. And we're back at 0%. Might as well take this time to mention that the fan on this bad boy is pretty loud. Got another warning, upgrade abnormality. Please check the network connection. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to, and now it says device unconnected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the quad off. I'm going to turn the transmitter itself off. So we're going to close completely out of the app. Then we're going to turn the quadcopter back on. Seems to do its little startup gimbal warm up with no problems. And then now we are going to turn on the transmitter. The transmitter itself again will vibrate whenever it has actually connected. There it is. So it is now connected to the quadcopter itself. So here it is, Vision 2. I'm going to actually say always open Vision 2 when Powervision is connected. Well, no, I'm not, because I also have my other one too. So it says now that the device is connected. So let's go on ahead and try this firmware upgrade again. So we'll tap that 3.2.2 and upgrade, and then upgrade again. So we're back to compressing file. Data transmitting. Something just failed. Now it seems to be transmitting the data a lot faster. %, that's the most we've ever gotten to. Keeps going, so hopefully everything is going to pan out this time. Don't know what the issue was from the start, but this just goes to show you, just keep trying a couple different things. Maybe my issue was that the first time after I needed to take the SD card out, I did not disconnect the transmitter. I left it on. So that might have been, my issue. So again, could have been user error. But I do want to let you know that if you buy one of these and you get that error, before you go and start throwing it out the window or contacting customer support, close out of everything. Force close the app on your device, replug everything back in, turn the quadcopter on, then turn on the transmitter, and have it load up the app by itself, and maybe that'll fix your problem, as it seemed to have fixed mine, because it is now up to 85% and counting, folks, and counting. So hopefully it all goes smooth this time around. Now says installing. So we're on step number 3, to be completed within 400 seconds. We'll restart multiple times, and looks like there's restart number 1. Back to compressing file. Oh, and now it's installing. And it's going up pretty quick. Really skipping a lot of numbers there. So going back to what this update said it helped to fix, hopefully one of the updates, hopefully this update, it did mention that it made the over-the-air updates a little easier, I hope, so that maybe a lot of people were getting that error message, and that was just something that needed to be updated. I don't know, but hopefully it makes it a little bit more streamlined and makes it easier for everyone. So. And just also note, at least with this version of firmware 3.2.2, you don't have a choice. It did not give me a choice. It did not let me go through with it. I had to do it. It wouldn't even let me access the device without going through with that update. So definitely a big thing. So all right, well, looks like we're done. The aircraft firmware has been updated. The device will automatically restart. You saw it doing that moments ago. Oh, and I guess it's going to do it one more time. So. Just be aware of that. So I'm going to go on ahead and tap done on the screen. It says device connected. Still has a little notification that new firmware is available. I'm going to try to access device and see what happens. An important new firmware is available. Please upgrade first. So it does say 3.2.2, but now it is another firmware size. It's different. It's 33 megs. So maybe that is for the transmitter or for something else. But it's still 3.2.2, but it's a different firmware size. So I'm going to go ahead and tap upgrade and do that upgrade. And let's see if, as you guys remember, the other one was over 100 megs. So no problem with the data transmitting here. It's not giving me any errors or anything, at least quite yet. I will have to admit, this is a little bit of a longer process for upgrading firmware. Now, as you guys recall, the original Xeno and the Xeno Pro, they require putting files on SD cards, restarting, they require it hooking up to a computer, things of that sort. So there is no hooking anything up to a computer, but it does seem to take a little time. At least first time out of the box anyhow. So maybe future updates won't be like this, but you never know. It says installing. The device itself restarted. Apparently it has been completed. The aircraft firmware has been upgraded. The device will automatically restart. So I'm going to give it a couple of seconds here. From the first time around when it did that, it wanted to restart again. So I think we're okay now. Device is back on, everything's connected. I'm going to tap done. And now the firmware notice went away. So we're going to go on ahead and access device here. I am going to, for screen recording purposes, I'm going to stop this one and tap access device. And we'll pick it right back up here in landscape mode. So when you tap access device, we're now at this device list. IMU says that it is abnormal, which is obvious. Compass is normal, flight mode is in normal, but I'm going to tap the X button for right now. It still says warning, IMU abnormality. It says that the aircraft is ready to take off, but I am not seeing any FPV. So what happens if I tap this warning? Nothing. Still, I'm not seeing, surprisingly inside I have 13 satellites, which is pretty interesting. Going through that entire update, we drained down to 86% battery, 76% on the transmitter. Let's go back to home, and let's go back to access device. It says that there's a problem here with the IMU, but it's not letting me do anything about it. I'm curious. So if I were to lift this up, okay, so the gimbal is working just fine, but I am not getting any FPV on the screen. So let's go back into our settings here. This is our flight control. Let's go to sensor. Here we go. IMU. Maybe it wants an IMU calibration. Place the aircraft in a dry place as shown in the illustration. Face the gimbal forward. Manually adjust the attitude of the aircraft as shown in illustration. Please keep it powered on and do not start the motors. So let's do an IMU calibration. a little confusing, but let's do it this way, as it states. Now it wants it upside down. Now it wants it this way. Now it wants it face down. Now it wants it face up. It says IMU calibrated, but I am still getting a warning here. It says IMU, oh, just went away. Now it says that it is stabilized. Again, it says that it is ready to take off, but I am still not getting any FPV with the camera. So here's what we'll do. I am going to power off the aircraft. It is now off. I am going to turn off the transmitter. We are going to force close the app. Let's turn this back on. Guess I forgot to take that off. I hope that didn't have anything to do with it. And there's nothing else on there. So let's turn this on. Let's turn the transmitter on. Now, because this does have some internal storage, it shouldn't be because I took the micro SD card out. At least, I hope not. There, the transmitter has connected to the aircraft. It didn't prompt me, there it is, to open the app, so I'm going to have that app opened up. It says device connected. Let's access the device. Everything now reads normal, which is a good thing. Close out of that. And again says that it is ready to take off, but again I am not seeing any FPV.